Gentlemen, welcome to the live stream. We got Laker game action tonight, Lakers Hawks, and we got quite the injury report that I don't think we saw coming. If you haven't seen it yet, Maxi Kleber is active, making his Lakers regular season debut. We've talked about it if you've watched the channel and kept up with what I've been talking about. I wasn't even sure he'd ever play for their team, apart from that 5 minute little playoff stint he had. But Maxi Kleber is active tonight. Austin Reeves not active tonight. Luka's active tonight. No word yet on Adu Thero when he might be back. Not an official update, but we got Maxi Kleber back. That's pretty crazy in my opinion. I didn't think he'd play tonight. It was only last night that Reddit said that there was no update on Maxi Kleber, just to turn around and upgrade him on their injury report from out to questionable to now being active tonight. So interested to watch what Kleber will do for their team, if he'll even play tonight. Playing against Atlanta, not the biggest team. They got Porzingis, they got Onyeka Okongwu, but will Kleber be out there tonight? Maybe, maybe not. If he is, I wouldn't doubt if it'd only be like a 5 minute stint, maybe during the late second quarter before halftime, or maybe fourth quarter if they're up big or down big in garbage time. But I'm looking forward to watching if Maxi Kleber has anything to offer the team yet, if he'll slide into the rotation, if he'll play more at the 5 for them, even though they have both Ayton and Hayes active. Will he play some time at the 4, or will he simply be a bench guy for them? Definitely something to watch here. I'm looking forward to it tonight, but let me know what you guys think about the Kleber update, the updates that maybe we haven't gotten yet to Adu Thero, well, we actually did get one to LeBron. I talked about that in a recent video. LeBron was updated to 1 to 2 weeks away from game action. At that point, till somewhere in the middle of that, he will be reevaluated. So hopefully sooner rather than later. I can pull up the Lakers schedule for my guess on when I think he'll be back. I've talked about this before, but hold on here. Here we go. If I had to guess, after their road trip here, we're right here. They're in the midst of a 6-game road trip. I would guess that he'll come back around that November 18th date. That's their first home game in, about 2 weeks here coming up. Probably the best guess would be that game. If he's not ready by that point, maybe going to the 25th. Give him another week to come back. But if I had to guess, probably LeBron around the 18th to the 25th. Hopefully Adu Thero will be back within that time frame so he can play a little bit before LeBron comes back. Hopefully they even get back, Gabe Vincent. I really doubt it, but hopefully Maxi Kleber can stay healthy. But that's kind of what we're looking at right now. But I'll get to a few of your comments. Let me know what you guys think about Kleber coming back, when you might think LeBron will come back, Adu Thero, the whole list of injuries they have. But let me know what you guys think. I'll get to a few of your questions here, and we'll talk ball before Lakers Hawks. How about Thero? Okay, yeah, okay. I've talked about Thero a little bit. Who is Maxi Kleber? Yeah, that's a good question. We haven't seen much of him. He has not played a regular season minute with the Lakers, despite being with their team for 8.5 months now. So kind of crazy to think about, but hey, I guess we'll get to see it tonight, maybe. Uh, appreciate your legend. Appreciate that. Seeing my face with the voice throwing you off. Well, if you haven't tuned into a live stream yet, I appreciate all of you that are tuning in for the first time. I've done quite a few of them, but if it's your first live stream, welcome, and let me know what you think, I guess. Wasn't Maxi playing really good with Luka and Dallas? I mean, at some points, yeah, he was. Let me pull up. I actually have it pulled up here. I think you guys can look at that with me. Got my own player graphic here for Maxi. The career stat line for Maxi, even though that's not the best representation of his overall game. Averaging about 6.5 points per game, 4.5 rebounds per game, 1 block per game. If I had to point to anything on the, basic stat line with him that stands out, I'd probably point to the 3-point shooting. We talk about it with Kleber. He's the one big, quote unquote, on their team that can offer some floor spacing, a little bit of switching on defense to go with that. Not a combination they really have outside of, him, I guess, unless you want to count Hachimura big, which he isn't. Aiton, maybe here and there can knock down a long mid-range shot, but not quite what Kleber can do. That's kind of the main thing to point to with him. And yes, he's played with Luka for a long time, all the way back to 2018. They actually even both played with Dirk Nowitzki that year. Now Dirk's on Amazon Prime talking and critiquing them. But yeah, they played together for quite some time now. I think going on year number 8 together, or season number 8 together. Yeah, they have some chemistry. Hopefully, if Kleber can be healthy and play with Luka a little bit, they can get back to that. But not gonna hold my breath too much yet. But we do have a few super chats here. We got one from Oscar Solis. I don't see your question on the first one here. That's not popping up for me, but yeah, I don't know why, but both of your super chats, they didn't come with a message on my end. I don't know if you did something for that, but I appreciate the super chat. If I see your question in the comments here, I definitely will get to it, but I appreciate it. We have another one from the notorious CRG. Appreciate the super chat, my guy. I've seen you here before. Appreciate you coming back. The question is, how worried are you about LeBron coming back and tweaking the current mojo in a negative way? Is this your first live stream of the season? Happy to be on. I guess answering the shorter question first. First live stream, no. I think second or third of the season. But for your main question, how worried am I about LeBron coming back and tweaking the current mojo in a negative way? I think you can go a bunch of different paths with that. I'm not worried about it per se. I don't think LeBron will come back and be overly ball dominant and really demand touches too much. I think if he would do that for whatever reason, which again I don't see really happening with him, I don't think he feels the need to do that. Whether the reports were true about him wanting to evaluate their team while he's out and seeing how they play without him. If that's even true, and maybe it might be a little bit true, I'd say he's pretty impressed and probably doesn't want to mess with it too much. When he wants to, LeBron's very good off the ball, is a good catch and shoot guy. I think he shot 40% on catch and shoot threes last season, is a good backdoor cutter, can even be a good defender when he wants to be. So I'm not worried about it. I think he was pretty okay with Luka being their number one guy even late last season. He kind of adhered to him and let him take over. He obviously loves Austin. I got the graphic here pulled up for just kind of a rotational look. I got some injury stuff with it too. But yeah, he doesn't care about playing behind Luka. He loves Austin. Before they even traded for Luka, he would give Austin the ball and let him have some on-ball opportunity. I'm not worried about it. I definitely want to watch it and maybe see more how Redick incorporates him. I think it'll be more on Redick than it will be LeBron. Yes, LeBron can captain the offense and change things up on the go. His IQ is off the charts. He can do that. But I think it's going to be more on the coaching staff and JJ Redick to incorporate him. I don't think LeBron's going to be too pushy. It might take a few games, but I think it's being overblown a little bit. I think it'll work out, and I'm really not too worried about it. Hachimura is not a big... I agree with you, yeah. Try to get to a few more of your questions. If you really want to get my attention, feel free to do the super chat, but if not, I will try to get to all of them. What would be a realistic trade at the... I'm not going to... Okay, if that was your question, I think, Oscar, you were the super chat before. I think that's your question then. What would be a realistic trade at this point in the season? I don't think there is a realistic trade in early November. I think a trade, obviously, yes, can happen, but rarely do we see a trade happen at this point. If you would say realistic, I'd point to a really small trade, maybe like one of their expiring contracts with Kleber, Vincent, maybe a Dalton Connect paired with them, but even that might be a little bit far-fetched at this point. Even the bad teams, quote-unquote, around the NBA don't really know that they're bad yet. It takes about 20, 30 games to really throw in the towel and say, hey, we're going to be bad, we accept it, let's trade away the guys that are helping us win. And then those are kind of the teams that you trade with. Kind of like Dorian Finney-Smith last year. the Nets already were kind of open to being bad and they wanted to be bad at that point. That's why they traded Dorian. We're not, asking for too high of a price at that point. But, only 10 games in so far, not many teams are at that point and want to lose that badly. Got a couple more super chats here from one from W U we. I don't think I can pronounce the name, my bad, but I appreciate the chat. WUWEIOBERS. But the question is, what wins us the chip? A backup big or Herb Jones? If those are the only two options, I'd definitely go Herb Jones. A backup big, I think they have a decent one already with Jackson Hayes. I know some fans don't like him that much, but I think he's pretty good for a backup. Fits well with Luka. Plays some decent backup minutes behind Ayton. Not too worried about that. I think, if anything, what this team is missing a little bit, and not even nearly as much as I thought they would be, is that kind of 3-and-D wing archetype. I'd like to expand more from just Herb Jones. I don't think they even have to go that far. I don't think they need that good of a 3-and-D wing to be a top tier contender. Yes, it would obviously help, but what it would take to get him, would that hurt more or would that help more? If you're trading for Herb Jones, then you're obviously going to have to trade their final first round draft pick. That's not the problem with their current team and their current depth. But to get him, do you also have to trade Rui Hachimura to get him? Probably. If you don't, maybe you're lucky by trading a Gabe Vincent and Dalton Connect package with their final tradable first round draft pick and every other first round draft pick swap they have to offer. Maybe, if you're lucky, but I'd imagine that the Pelicans would probably want Hachimura. I don't think they could demand Austin Reeves anymore at this point, but yeah, I would say a wing. It doesn't have to be Herb Jones, but a wing would help them get closer to winning a championship more than a backup big. Anyway, we have another super chat from the notorious CRG. Appreciate it again, my guy. Stuck between wanting 28-year-old LeBron and Grandpa LeBron. Yeah, I think there was a good question during my last live stream about, what was it? Would I take prime LeBron over both Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves? And I didn't get too much into that part, but I think the better question is, what is the best version of LeBron? Do you want that 2012, 28-year-old LeBron back in Miami? Do you want the 2018 older-ish LeBron in Cleveland for that final year? Or do you want the current LeBron with insanely high IQ, can do a lot of different things on the court, probably is currently the best shooting version of himself? That's really an interesting topic. Do you want that, and what version would be best for their current team? It's a good question, but you can kind of make your own decision on that, I guess. I would probably go with the best version of LeBron for whatever year you think that might be. But obviously, any LeBron that's playing at the level he was even last year or any time before that would help their team out. Anyway, for those that are just tuning in, Maxi Kleber is back. Yes, pull up the injury report for you guys to look at with me here if you have not seen it yet. Maxi Kleber, he was questionable on the injury report, but is officially active. I think I have a better, from Dave McManaman here. Kleber being upgraded to available today, per the team. Could make his season debut. Even though he's active, it's not a guarantee that he will play. Maybe he plays 5-10 minutes tonight, but probably not going to play too much even if he does get in the game. Regardless, I'm looking forward to it. More depth for a team that's without LeBron tonight, without Austin tonight. Let me update my graphic to calm my OCD. Hey, and we can actually officially take the out off for Maxi Kleber. That almost feels unreal to do that. Obviously, though, without LeBron, without Austin, without Gabe, no Adu Thero yet. Even Nick Smith and Koloko, they're with the South Bay Lakers tonight. So don't have a ton of depth. If it would come down to it, Kleber being back could help them out. So I'm happy with that. Again, good depth is better than no depth. Having more guys available is never a bad thing. Got another question. Why trade anyone? The team is clicking right now. Yeah, I wouldn't trade anyone that's a part of the rotation. I don't think a trade's coming anytime soon to begin with. But if you're going to make a trade and if you're thinking about their current trade package, and again, like I talked about in my latest video, if you're talking about that, who is kind of expendable on their team, I'd point to Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, Dalton Connect, guys that either haven't played much, have not played at all, or haven't played that well, unfortunately, for Dalton Connect. Probably on the chopping block. I don't think they need to make a trade yet, but if you want to talk about that landscape and form a trade package for their team, those three would probably be in it. For people coming in right now, yes, Maxi Kleber is back tonight. Um, I'll keep updating that throughout the live stream here, but believe it or not, Kleber is active tonight. Might play, might not, but yes, he is available to play tonight. And I guess if you didn't hear, Austin Reeves out tonight. No Adu Thero yet, no Gabe Vincent, no LeBron. Luca is playing tonight, and I guess that's kind of the availability. A lot of comments about what version you take of LeBron. Yeah, I think any version of LeBron. You hope that Austin's groin injury won't be one that lingers all year long. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Groin injuries, they can be a tricky thing, but they haven't made it sound too overly serious or anything. They're probably just giving him a week, maybe 2 weeks off, given that they have a pretty good leeway at this point. They're 7-2. If they really need to, not that they're going to try to lose a game, but if they would drop a game or two, it's not the end of the world at this point. I think they're currently the second seed in the West, so got some pretty good leeway right now. The Brooklyn Nets are going to stay bad till 2035. Honestly, maybe not that long, but they're going to be bad for a while now. I mean, when your owner comes out in, I don't know, in August or July, whenever Joe Tsai an interview and said something along the lines of, we're not going to be good this year, and he openly accepts that, and even kind of hinted at kind of tanking, yeah, they're not going to be good for quite some time. No Nick Smith tonight. No, he is with the South Bay Lakers. I think I can probably pull up the South Bay Lakers Twitter page and we can. But they have they actually played earlier tonight. Or no, they will be playing later tonight. And on the official roster, I guess I don't know for sure if Nick Smith will be with them, but given that he's on the official roster and they play their home opener tonight, or their season opener, I would imagine that he'll probably be with them. Maybe he won't be, but he might be. I would imagine Koloko will be with them, given that Kleba is active tonight. Chris Mannon will probably be with them tonight. But yeah. Y'all saying I look like Austin Reeves and Jake LaRavia. Yeah, I am part white, I guess. You're hoping Kleba will get some minutes tonight. Yeah, I'm kind of cautiously optimistic or hoping for him to get minutes tonight. Maybe. If he does, obviously I hope for him to play well. But if he's not quite ready to give them a lot of production, and maybe they aren't feeling confident about his impact level yet, and him being off his feet for a while there, maybe they don't play him yet. Maybe they just let him be active and make him feel better about himself to suit up and be a little bit more with the team rather than street clothes. But definitely a good step nonetheless. Who would I trade, Max? I'm not going to get too far into trade talk. I'll at least wait another couple weeks here before I bring up like legitimate trade targets or anything along the lines of that. I have a few in mind. Yes, you can bring up the Andrew Wiggins. I don't think you can get him for Gabe, Maxi, and Connect. Maybe a different team at that point blows their team up. I think we're all kind of anticipating maybe a Memphis blow up if John Morant continues to be angry and tries to force his way out. Maybe at that point you could trade for KCP. Maybe. But yeah, I'm not going to get too deep into trade talk. Just a few ideas. Few people saying that they're tuning in for the first time. Appreciate you checking out the live stream, whether it's your first one, second one, fifth one. Appreciate you tuning in. Do you think the Lakers win this game easy? I wouldn't say easy. I don't think any game is easy per se to win in the NBA, NFL, any professional sport, but the Hawks are a decent team. I think they're one game below 500, if I remember correctly. I'm actually going to pull that up so I don't lie to you. Yep, they are 4-5 entering tonight. They lost their last game. I think that might have been to Toronto. Could be wrong about that, but they're pretty average. No Trae Young right now. I think I've seen a previous comment saying that Porzingis might be out. I didn't look up their injury report too deeply, but let's see. Did that comment lie to me? Trae Young out. Nope, you were right. Porzingis is out. Yet another Nikola Durisic, maybe. He's been out. Not that he would play, I don't think, anyway. I know that Jalen Johnson is active tonight. I've seen that somewhere, unless that wasn't confirmed. And Luke Kennard's out too. So no Trae Young, no Porzingis or Luke Kennard. Are they going to trade LeBron? No, he has a no trade clause. Jackson is that tall guy at the gym who has you worried, but then you see he's just tall. Ouch. I think he's a little bit more than just tall, but yeah, I mean, he's definitely tall and can jump. That's a big part of why he's in the rotation. Maybe you think that Nick Smith should be on the actual roster? Yeah, I think he definitely is a leading candidate for it right now. Right now, they can't sign him even if they wanted to. They don't have enough money under the first apron, but when it comes down to it and they do have enough money, maybe they sign Nick Smith, maybe they wait until the buyout market, but yeah, he definitely could. He could make it. Is this my first live? No. This is, I think, like 23rd live stream, but I think my third of this NBA season. So if you're tuning in, appreciate it. Maxi was bad for even the 5 minutes that he played. I don't think we can judge 5 minutes too harshly, but yeah, he hasn't really played much, if any, for their team. We haven't seen him, but yeah. Atlanta is injured as well and play kind of eh. Yeah, they're kind of mid, I guess, as the kids would say. But any team can beat any team in the NBA. I like Jalen Johnson. I actually really do like a lot of players on the Hawks. They got a good defense. They're going to get after you at the point of attack. Dyson Daniels, I think he finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting last year. That guy's a pest. He'll rack up 2, 3, 4, 5 steals a game even. That can definitely change the momentum of a game. If you're not careful, they'll definitely get it from you. They'll take advantage of you on defense. If Nickeil Alexander-Walker plays tonight, a good defender for them off the bench. He actually might be in their starting lineup with no Trae Young, but they're pretty good defense. Don't overlook them. Don't write them off because they're 4-5 and have been, just average for the past few years. I think they're decent, and playing on their own home court, never know. Jalen Johnson is out. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, you might be right. I guess I did not see the updated injury report for them. Brutal update. I think we should honestly just go to Twitter for that one. But I'll take your word for it. I didn't see anything about Jalen Johnson yet, though. Okay, well, Trevor Lane confirmed it there. The Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, okay. You're right. Alexander Walker and Jalen Johnson are both out. That's a little bit surprising. I don't think they played last night, but kind of copping out of a game tonight against the Lakers, that's pretty shocking. I think the tables might be slowly turning with players trying to come back and play the Lakers even if they've been out for months on end. Maybe that's not a thing anymore. Maybe players are not trying to push their luck too much. Maybe with Luka Doncic out there, they're not going to go for it as often as they might at one time. But yeah, still though, much like the Lakers when they played Portland earlier last week, didn't have Luka, didn't have Austin, didn't have LeBron. They still came out and won. So never know. You can any team can beat any team. You would, yeah. I would love Dyson Daniels on the Lakers too. I think he would. I think he'd fit on literally any team. Atlanta trash? No, they're not trash. But is the dude playing for South Bay tonight? No, he is not. Not cleared for 5-on-5 action yet in regard to live game action. He has been practicing to our knowledge, but no, not playing for South Bay. Yep, Jalen and Nikhil Alexander Walker are out. Uh, a little bit disappointing, I guess. I always want the games to be top notch and higher competition, but I really hope the Lakers don't come out now and say, Jalen Johnson's out, Alexander Walker's out, no Trey Young, nor no Porzingis. We can win this game easy. Then they come out with no energy and get down 10 early, have to scrap the whole game to simply beat a pretty injury hampered Hawks team. That wouldn't be good. Lakers should sit Luka tonight. Don't agree with that. If he's healthy, which he is, he should be playing, in my opinion. Can't afford to drop games. You don't want to rest your guys just because your opponent isn't fully healthy. That's not the way the NBA works. Think that no, LeBron's not going to be traded. Yeah, comments about that. No, LeBron won't be traded. Not only does he have a no trade clause, but not going to happen. Man, a lot of you guys really are not high in Atlanta. I'm never gonna come out and say that a team's gonna beat them by 30 points, even if they don't have five guys playing tonight. Again, we seen it with the Lakers not too long ago. They had no LeBron, no Luca, no Austin, half their rotation out, and here comes a guy like Nick Smith Jr. drops 25 points, plays big in the second half. You never know. This is the NBA. Everyone's talented. Um, Sometimes guys getting hurt can be a big opportunity, and sometimes people who you don't expect can take advantage of that opportunity too. Yeah. Comment, you can't remember the last time a team was fully healthy like ever. All 14, 15 guys ready and available to play. Yeah, that's pretty rare even for a season opener. It it doesn't happen. To have 15, I mean even 18 guys with two-way contracts in your team to be healthy all at one time, it's just not going to happen. Not in a contact sport like basketball, football, American football. You know, running up and down the court, players running 2, 3 miles a game, you're going to pick up little injuries here and there. Yeah, ideally you want to get up big in this game. You want to be up by 20, 30 points by the fourth quarter. Let Luka Doncic play half the fourth quarter at most, get him out of there. Let him, rest a little bit tonight. Take advantage of the Hawks not having a healthy team. Um, that's kind of what you want to do. Bring the energy early. Completely take any hope away from them that they can win tonight. Yeah, that should be the statement. You don't want to come out and play with no energy and just think that you're going to win because they have a lot of guys out. Am I shocked at how well DeAndre has played? You had a feeling he'd play great with us, but everyone was doubting him. I'm not going to say I'm shocked. I think you can even, pretty clearly go back and watch my videos from the summer and me confidently saying that it's going to work with him and Luka Doncic. I definitely was not this confident in him to be this committed defensively, this committed to his role, whatever it might be on a night-to-night basis, whether he's their third option one night, their second option another night, their fourth, fifth option the night after that. He's been completely fine doing whatever they want him to do. He's been committed to defense. He's, done everything they've asked him to do. So I've been very happy with DeAndre Ayton. I've been pleasantly surprised even at times too. So yeah, very happy with it. A little bit, I guess, but I was pretty confident with him. I probably even a little bit more confident than most. A lot of you tuning in to a live stream for the first time. Yeah, appreciate you guys checking it out. Do them every now and again. I plan to do more pre-game live streams, maybe a few post-game here and there, but yeah, I think this is the third one I've done this season. I do them every trade deadline, every free agency, that period. So yeah, glad you guys are tuning in. Aiton and Rui could beat this team. Man, I really, really hope that Atlanta doesn't come out and go up like 10, 20 points because this could be a lot of false confidence. Do I play 2K? I played 2K back in the day. I don't anymore. But yeah, back in the day. Normally bench fillers would shine in games like this, so don't loosen up. Yeah, 100%. Nick Smith Jr. Guarantee that the Portland Trailblazers fans or teammate or the actual players had no idea who he was, and he came out and dropped 25 on them. Probably the best Aiton has looked since back in Phoenix. Yeah, probably. I mean, he had good moments with Portland here and there, but you could tell if you watch him with Portland that he cared more about, putting up points and doing the flashy stuff rather than playing defense and caring about his role too much with them. I think some of that's definitely true. But yeah, he's definitely committed and fighting for his NBA life again now too. I mean, he definitely wants to get one more big contract, and I don't blame him for that. People in Atlanta paying to watch Luka. Pretty much, honestly. I'm sure a lot of people bought their tickets a couple months ago hoping that Luka and LeBron would play tonight. So at least Luka is playing for them to watch. Bro, post game live. Yeah, I might do a few post games here and there. I really do prefer the video format. I like to make my points a little bit more clearly. I feel like with live streams, it's just a lot of yap and kind of mindless thoughts at times. I'm just so used to being a bit more articulate and showing more stuff on the screen. But yeah, I definitely will do more in the future. Unrelated to the Lakers, but thoughts on Ace Bailey. I haven't watched him too much. I followed that controversy with him, reportedly not wanting to go to Utah and him ending up there. But off the top of my head, let's actually look what he's done. Playing about 18 minutes a night with them, putting up 5.9 points a game, not shooting too well. I mean, apart from what he's done, not going to judge a rookie 9 games in, but I liked Ace Bailey coming out of college. I thought he would have been really good fit for maybe a team in that 1 through 4 spot. I thought maybe the Spurs might take a risk with him. I like the Dylan Harper pick for them regardless, even though he did get hurt. But yeah, I like Ace Bailey, athletic freak, does have a lot of potential. Kind of reminded me of what's his name actually got drafted the year before in 2024. Drawing a blank. But yeah, I like Ace Bailey. Trying to guess my ethnicity. I'm not Asian. No, I'm not. Nothing wrong with that at all, obviously, but no, I am a mix of a few things, but I am not of Asian descent. This is a trap game. It definitely could be. I keep repeating it, but you never want to take an opponent lightly. Doesn't matter if they're playing without half their team. Um, doesn't matter if there's no Trey Young, no Porzingis, no Jalen Johnson. Heck, Dyson Daniels might drop 40 tonight. You never know. Um, they even have a few exciting young players on their team too. I like the Atlanta Hawks. I think they're a scrappy team. I'm actually going to pull up their full raw. Let's suit on this one, actually. Let's try to predict who might drop 20 on us tonight. Mohamed Gay, not a great offensive player, but watch for him tonight. He is a defensive standout. He's a lot of fun to watch. No Luke Kennard tonight, no Jalen Johnson. Oh, Shea, I forget about him. He could definitely drop 30. Wouldn't be shocked by that. I can never pronounce this guy's name. It's like I can't even try, but he's a really good defender too for their team. Big 6'8" combo guard. He could definitely drop 20 off the bench or maybe starting for them tonight. Wouldn't doubt it. Austin Newell, he'll probably play for them tonight. If I had to guess, though, Dyson will probably drop 20, 30 tonight, hopefully in a loss. But they don't have many guys that can score without Trey, Jalen, and Luke Kennard, Porzingis. Yeah, they should win, but you never know. Same D1s, or think, no. Yeah, Dyson Daniels mainly. That's kind of the big threat tonight. But yeah, if you're just joining in, yeah, we do have the update that Maxi Kleber will play tonight, upgraded to available, making his Lakers regular season debut. Pretty much his Laker debut. Played a little bit in the postseason, but hopefully he'll play tonight. I mean, I guess maybe hopefully. Maybe we'll see him, maybe not. I don't think they necessarily need him to play, but if he does, hopefully he plays well. No Austin tonight. Luca will be out there, thankfully. And guess we have to wait for further updates on Austin and Luca. And a Adou Thero, too. Yeah, they do have a lot of guys. I think that's like the entire NBA now. A lot of players from outside the US. Yeah, Okongwu, um, Shea, Nikhil even from Canada, Mohamed Gay. Yeah, they have a lot of guys from outside the US. Pretty much that's every NBA team now too. Even if you pull up the Lakers at this point, they got probably 4 or 5 guys that are technically born outside. Yeah, you got Aiton from the Bahamas. You got Hachimura technically from Japan. You got Luca from Slovenia. Koloko, I think that's Sudan. And Kleba from Germany. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 on the Lakers too. But yeah, they Atlanta definitely does have a pretty broad team. I will say that. Not going to get into the LeBron not really injured talk. I don't care about all that. Why is Austin out? Still dealing with that groin strain. They actually did change the verbiage on it from, I think they called it groin tightness, to now changing it to a groin strain. So we don't know the grade of it. We don't know the severity of it. They're not making it seem like it's anything too bad. So Hopefully, just a little tweak, maybe a grade 1 strain, which would be the lowest it could be. But we don't know too much about that yet. He'll be out tonight, hopefully, not too much longer. LeBron looked at the schedule and said, I'll start versus the Jazz. Yeah, I don't know about that thought process, but that is definitely the game I think he'll come back for. I had this pulled up before, but the Lakers are currently on their 6-game road trip, and when they come back on the 18th, that will be against Utah. Their next home game in the next week and a half here. Hey, that's a good game to come back for, though. Not too much pressure, not a overly intense matchup. You don't got a Draymond Green out there that might tackle you, re-injure you. So, yeah, pretty low-key matchup to come back in. The world catching up with the NBA talent. Yeah, honestly, I don't think we've heard it officially confirmed, but the All-Star game, they're really hinting at it being USA versus the world, so that could be interesting to watch. Yeah, you are right though. Rui grew up in Japan, not technically from there. You're correct. I think he doesn't he have dual citizenship though. I know he wasn't born there, but he does kind of play for their Olympic team. He does identify with the Japanese culture. So LeBron back in 9 days. Based on what my guess and even kind of what Shams hinted at the other day too. I think I included that clip of him in my latest video, or maybe 2 videos ago now. Even Shams kind of hinted at that November 18th game against Utah. So I'm kind of thinking then, if it's not that game, I think he'll probably wait to the 25th. They come back from their road trip on the 18th. Then they have a weird 5-day break. So maybe he'll wait until the 25th, play that home game. But yeah, probably somewhere in this time frame. I'd be genuinely shocked if he came back on their current road trip. I don't see that happening. Is AR back tonight? No. Austin is out tonight. No LeBron, no Austin, no Adu Thero, no Gabe Vincent, but we do have Maxi Kleber. So who knows? Maybe he'll play tonight. Maybe he'll come off the bench and drop a strong 5 points, but more depth is good depth. Yep, you're correct. Luka did debut against Utah, for the Lakers anyway. If we brought LeBron off the bench, we would be unstoppable. I just don't see that happening. They're not going to bring him off the bench, but I mean, it might be an interesting look. Yeah, their schedule does ease up after the road trip, though. That is something to point to. We got Utah 2 times in a row, playing in LA against Utah. Then we got a nice 4 or 5 day break. Then we go to Utah, come back to LA for a little crosstown rivalry against the Clippers. Then we play the Mavericks, who have been absolutely awful. They have no point guard pretty much, just D'Angelo Russell and vibes that are not good. Yeah, they haven't played well, so maybe Anthony Davis will be back for that. I think he was upgraded to questionable today for their game, so probably will be back for that game. Knock on wood if he doesn't get hurt again. But yeah, then we got the Pelicans. They haven't played well. We even have the Pelicans, who we travel to in a few days here. But yeah, the schedule does ease up, and I think that's pretty telling. They've had a top 5 difficulty in schedule up until this point, and they're 7-2. So not going to complain about that. Maxi the savior tonight. Hey man, he's coming off the bench to drop 20. Kidding. You agree with my trade package? I think you're talking about the video I made. Yeah, again, I think I talked about this earlier in the live. I don't think they're going to make a trade anytime soon. I would be shocked if anything happened before December, January even. But if I would look to make a trade package right now, if some team reached out to them with a player they want, the only players I'd really think about trading to not disrupt chemistry, not disrupt with the vibe of their team, would be Kleber, Connect, and Gabe Vincent. But not going to go too much into trade talk. Rui looking nice. Very nice. Yeah. Looking very good. Pull up my... Can update my chat here. Getting a little lag. But I'll go through a few more of your questions. We got about 50 minutes before game time tonight. If you're just tuning in, Maxi Kleber back tonight. No Austin tonight. No LeBron tonight. Luka will be playing tonight. But yeah, Maxi Kleber's back. Kind of the shocking twist per se. But coming out of nowhere and is active tonight. You're pretty sure LaMelo Ball will be out Monday. Yeah, he does have that chronic ankle thing going on right now. Hopefully that's not a long-term thing for him, but yeah, he might be out too. Who would come off the bench after LeBron comes back? I've talked about it. I think it'll probably be, a toss-up between Marcus or Rui. I would probably go Rui at that point, just for a better defensive fit. I wouldn't be shocked if they go back to their old starting lineup with Austin, Luka, LeBron, Rui, and now Ayton rather than Hayes. But I'd probably move Rui to coming off the bench, not for any fault of his own, just to make the fit a bit better. Probably what I'd look at doing. Marcus Smart is if AR comes back for the OKC game, that would give AR 10 days off. Yeah, something to point to with that. Maybe they're kind of circling that game for him. I mean, they obviously want to be healthy for a tough matchup like OKC. We do play them on Wednesday of this week in OKC, so that'll be a tough matchup. Ideally, would like to have more than only Luka Doncic out there fighting for his life against Lou Dort, J-Dub, Caruso. My goat. But yeah, ideally would like to have a few more guys back for that game, namely either Austin or LeBron, but LeBron won't be back for that game yet. You think Gabe Vincent's value might be high? A lot of teams need a point guard. I wouldn't say high. I would say he might actually have some value at this point if he wasn't hurt anyway. But he's not really a true point guard either. He is another ball handler, I guess, but would a team like Houston that needs a point guard, the Mavericks that need a point guard, would they really give up a whole lot for Gabe Vincent? Probably not. Maybe something, but, not too much. Even though we won, I did not like the ref ball against San Antonio. That was a really weird game. Even Reddick talked about it post-game too. The, weird way that the refs were calling that game compared to earlier games. The ticky-tack fouls they called and not letting players do certain things that they were allowed to do prior to that game. Yeah, kind of weird. I didn't like that officiating either. No Mello. I need to do radio. I don't think I have a pathway for that, but appreciate that. I'll try to get to all of your comments. Again, no pressure. If you really want to get my attention, feel free to do the super chat thing, but I'll try to get to all of your comments here. I'll probably do 15 minutes more on the live stream, but we do have about 45 minutes before tip-off, so hopefully we got a good game tonight. Hoping we can play hard and rest the starters all the fourth quarter. Yeah, that'd be ideal tonight. If we can go up 20, in today's NBA, probably 30 points in the fourth quarter, then we could give Luka a break and say, hey, chill out. Our guys off the bench got this. Maybe Dalton Connect can play a little bit more, hopefully find a rhythm. Maybe, if Nick Smith isn't with the South Bay team tonight, if he can play a little bit too, that'd be great. Yeah, that would be ideal though. What will Maxi value bring to the team? I think first and foremost, is he healthy? If he is, and can he be a semblance of what he was back in Dallas? Can he be that stretch five for them? Can he be a versatile defender at the five for them? Can he be a good matchup for maybe a more versatile team at the five? Maybe for against a bigger team at the four? That's kind of what I'm looking for with Maxi Kleber. Can he get back to what he was mainly? That's up in the air right now, but hopefully we find out. Yep, we're about 45 minutes away from tip-off. If you're just coming into the live stream, we do have Maxi Kleber active tonight. That is confirmed. Let me actually go back to here. Wrong thing, actually. Per the team, though, Maxi Kleber upgraded to available today. Then we have Austin out. We have LeBron out, obviously, yet. Adu Thero out. Gabe Vincent out. And Luka is playing tonight, not even on the injury report. What do I think about LeBron signing a 2-year, $50 million deal? I don't think LeBron will play that much longer, honestly. I think he'll play maybe one more year after this one, depending on how he feels after this year. Will he maybe play one more to play with Bryce if he even comes to the NBA at that point? I don't know, but I don't think he'll play 2 more years after this one. I think 1 more tops. It would be cool to get to year number 25, I guess, but I don't see it. Think Rui should be the 6th man. Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. I think he's working great right now. I don't think it'd be any fault of his own to come off the bench. I don't think being moved to the bench is even a punishment per se. I know a lot of people tend to view it that way. But when LeBron comes back and they have LeBron, Austin, Luka, Ayton obviously too, I don't know if the best 5th fit for that would be Rui. I think at that point I might go with Marcus, maybe even Jake LaRavia. I'd take Marcus over him though. You know, Rui, I don't want to put him back into that primary defensive role. That's not the role he should be filling for a team, not for their team, not for any team. I don't want to put Austin back in that role, so ideally keep Marcus in there to take on that tough defensive matchup. Then have Rui come off the bench and, you know, he'll play plenty with the team yet. He'll play 30 minutes per game. That's not going to change, but yeah, probably that. Rui to come off the bench and be their 6th man. You think I have the best Lakers content online? Appreciate that. Question. There was a question for LeBron if he will play with Bryce. He said he was not planning to play for that long. Yeah, you know, things can change. Maybe Bryce decides that he wants to try to play in the NBA next year. Maybe if he has a great year, freshman year at Arizona, I doubt he'll even play that much. Or maybe he just wants to try to play with his dad. It could happen, but yeah. Probably not though. A little update on the Hawks injury report too. If you have not been here for our discussion earlier with that, they have quite a few guys out too. They have everyone from Trae Young out tonight. They got Jalen Johnson out tonight. They got Porzingis out tonight. They got Nickeil Alexander-Walker out tonight. Yeah, they got quite the extensive injury report. I think they updated it here. Yeah. No Nickeil, no Jalen, no Trae Young, obviously. No Porzingis, no Tingus Pingus. Yeah. Could be a trap game. Don't want to ease up and take your foot off the gas pedal. Try to come out with energy. Get up 20, 30 points. Let Luka sit during the 4th quarter. Let the majority of your starters sit and rest during the 4th quarter. Ideally, that's what they'll do, but I guess we'll have to watch that play out. Yeah, I do agree though. You need Marcus in there for that good point of attack defender, good kind of defensive leader, especially after LeBron does come back. I hate to point out lack of defense at times and not always committing to it, but between Luca, LeBron, and Austin on the court, not always the most fiery defensive intensity. But if you put Marcus Smart out there with them, he's not afraid to yell at them to get back on defense and commit to playing defense and keep them consistent. I think that's actually another part of why you need Marcus out there with them. You don't think that Luca, LeBron, and Austin is a good starting lineup? I think that's kind of a different viewpoint the way you're taking it. I don't think the fit is perfect per se, but if you're simply talking good for like talented, I think it's extremely good. It's all about making it fit and finding the best two fits beside them. With that five spot, it's going to be DeAndre Ayton. I think he's a pretty good fit for it, showing it right now too. For that fifth spot, then for that wing or guard next to them, ideally we'd have a better shooter than Marcus Smart, but the defensive role that he can fill, the intensity that he'll bring, the leadership, I think he's a pretty good fit for that. Do I know who the Lakers starting five is? I assume you mean tonight. If I had to guess, it would be who they started against San Antonio, which would be Luca, Rui, Marcus, DeAndre Ayton, and Jake LaRavia. Probably that again tonight. They don't have to confirm it until 30 minutes prior to tip-off, so in 10 minutes from now. But if I had to guess, that probably would be it. I can try to look for it, but yeah, I think that would probably be it. Smart has not been durable, so we need to save him for the big games. You really can't pick and choose. You can't predict an injury when it might happen. You want to be careful. You don't want to overexert him if you don't have to, but they need him on the court and they need him to play in every game that he's healthy for. So, kind of a toss up at that point, but hopefully he doesn't get hurt. But they need him out there. You think the Lakers look solid, but think they need to stop with these crazy turnovers. They are top five in the NBA in turnovers per game, if I remember correctly. We blow leads every game because of that, and then barely win game at the end. I mean, you can't be too mad about their 7-2 record. Every team is going to have a few sloppy games here and there, especially when you don't have, pretty much all of your ball handlers and playmakers active for a game. Whether they just have Luca, have only had both Luca and Austin for 2.5, 3 games, kind of. Only have had one of Luca or Austin for every other game after that. No Gabe Vincent, no LeBron. So, it's going to be a little bit messy at that point. You don't have your regular team to regulate your offense and initiate it even. It's going to be a little bit sloppy, so I'm not going to be too mad about them for that, but ideally, yes. Hopefully they clean it up. Reading a few of your comments here. You think Rob Lowe had a brilliant season off season? Yeah, he does look a lot like Rob Lowe. Palinka, he's having a real good stretch here though, dating back to that Luka Doncic trade. Fa- Not a face reveal, my friend. It's probably the 20th, 25th live stream I've done. Appreciate you tuning in, but yeah, we've done quite a few. We'll go back to the injury reports for those that are just tuning in. Go back to my bookmarks. If you're just tuning in, Kleber is available tonight. Might make his Lakers regular season debut. Even if he doesn't, he is active and is available to come off the bench. Also, no Austin tonight. No Gabe Vincent yet. No Adu Thero. No LeBron. But Maxi is active tonight. Our savior, Maxi Kleber. Then for Atlanta, if you weren't here for that, they are without Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, Porzingis, Alexander Walker, so they're pretty beat up too. Oop, wrong thing. Answer maybe one or two more questions here, and then we'll end the live for the night. Trade Pelinka. I don't know how you could be mad at Pelinka right now. Yeah, I think you definitely have to appreciate Rob Pelinka. Dude's been on a generational run right now. All right, there, guys. We got about half an hour before tip off. Think I'm gonna end the live here pretty quick. Final updates. If you're just coming in, Maxi Kleber active tonight. We'll see how that maybe or maybe does not pan out if he even plays tonight. Luka's active tonight. No Austin tonight. Atlanta is a pretty beat up team. Hopefully we can get out to a 30-point, 40-point lead even ideally. Rest Luka the entire fourth quarter and pick up our 8th win of this NBA season. So enjoy the game. Hopefully it's a good one, and we'll talk soon again. Peace out. Appreciate you guys joining the live stream.